Ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host for today's broadcast, Insane Layer 13, and today we are about to get underway here for the first race of XRL's X3 series, the 7th season across its 4th different game, as we're preparing to get underway now on F1 2022, and we will be starting out here at Bahrain for the season opener. 16 drivers are on track right now. 15 of them are allowed to qualify. Mercedes has a qualifying ban left over from prior season. So right now, unless another person joins in the middle of qualifying, these 15 drivers can basically treat Q1 as a glorified test session. There's not going to be a whole lot of effort to really push hard here. Now, if another person jumps in, then we actually have a little bit of a serious game to play regarding who is or isn't going to make it into Q2. But right now, 15 drivers are in position to make it into the next round. Now, I say that yesterday in the dev race, there were 15 drivers who showed up for first round qualifying there, and only 12 advanced to the following round. Technically 13, but one of them was serving a qualifying ban, so only 12 advanced to the next round. So, yeah, things can happen. We could end up seeing fewer than 15 drivers making it into Q2. These new cars, they're a little bit more low slung to the ground. There's a lot less flex in the tires, so the cars are a lot stiffer overall. And going over the curbs is a lot more difficult. I think we're going to see a lot fewer track limit violations simply because getting offline and running over the curbs in this game comes with so much higher of a risk that it's not really practical to be swinging and sliding off the main racing lines like it used to be in the older cars. Right now we're watching Galminator 2361 in that Alpine machine. Sector 2 of Bahrain is one of the most interesting ones, although realistically Sector 2 kind of starts at before the end of Sector 1, goes until the start of Sector 3. But you have an entire downhill section where the entire weight of the car is basically sprung on the front axle, very mechanically grip focused. If you don't have good mechanical grip, you're going to be in trouble there. Then you have a back straightaway, which is not really focused for long-term acceleration, top speed. It's more for short-term acceleration. Your typical 1 to 175 mile an hour kind of acceleration that an F1 car specializes in. Then you have a series of uphill corners that are nice, flowing, smooth. That's where downforce comes down to, and you need to have good downforce. However, counterpoint to that, though, is that you need to have a good mechanical grip platform to support that downforce. Regrettably, I can personally say that if you're trying to go out there and you don't have anything less than minimum, if you don't have anything more than the minimum tire pressure on all the fronts and the rears, you will spin the car out going uphill in Sector 2 due to the fact that you'll have so much downforce, it'll actually cause the car to lose itself. The car will go around faster and you can actually adjust to it. There's a Mercedes that has gone around, and that is XRL Snake. Snake, who has run for the Mercedes team before and is a veteran on the X3 Tour, currently navigating his way now through Sector 2. Pops open the DRS. Not really laying hard on the ERS. He knows that with the spin, there's not really a whole lot of advantage on trying to go hard and burning that up. This lap's already been miffed in a sense. Galminator coming in the line with a 129 by looks like. No, I'm sorry, it's going to be a 130.324, so that's the time everyone else will be chasing. The next man across the line will be this man here, AK Herbie 53. And Snake has gone around for a second time. That's at the top of Sector 2. At the top of the hill. He hasn't validated this lap. Herbie sets a 130.611. Now we see the AlphaTauri's come across the line. Dad Stop Gaming puts a 130.825. Laser 517 actually aborts his lap. So the focus now goes to Mantic Meerkat, who will set a 130.608. Then you have the Haas. There's only one Haas here right now. That is XRL Gusty. I said that's XRL Gusty. Not flying quite as fast as we were thinking. He's very low on fuel, though, so he's not going to have a chance for another lap after this one. Crosses the line 130.078. I honestly was expecting a 129 out of him. This here is Collie Boy, as he is now has begun an outlap, as has XRL Dave. But 5 of our 15 drivers have set times at this point in the session. Dave just trying to get some heat back into the tires right now. Collie Boy and Zola both have also come out on circuit. They're preparing to get a lap in. As Collie Boy pulling over to let Gusty by. Gusty, though, I don't think he realizes is out of fuel. He's not on another proper flyer at the moment. Flavor in the Ferrari camp has finally come out into the circuit. Here comes Mantic Meerkat up behind Dave. So what we're going to do is we're going to ride on board silently for a lap on board with XRL Dave. And from his perspective, we'll see what a lap is like around Bahrain in the new game with these new cars. Well, so much for that. He's invalidated almost immediately. Snake and Laser are both out on outlaps once more. And then Flavor, like I said, he's in the middle of trying to get something done. Collie Boy is just a little bit behind his teammate XRL Dave. And if he is fast enough through Sector 2, he might be able to catch a draft off of his teammate Dave and use that to pull him faster through Sector 3. Again, Sector 3 has the only non-DRS straightaway on this circuit. If you, however, are speeding yourself up through there using draft, that could actually turn out to be very, very beneficial for you. Oh! And he's around! Oh, and Dave's spun out in the exact same part of the racetrack just in front of him. And both Alfa Romeos having accidents at the exact same part of the racetrack, and XRL Dave is out. He will not advance to the next round. Chaos early on. Here comes Zola to begin a lap on his end now. Zola typically reserving the X2 category, but a combination of both strategically trying to make sure that each tier has proper officials, coupled with slowly declining pace in the X2 tier, has seen Zola be kicked down to the X3 level. However, this may actually make the championship fight even more chaotic here in X3, because Zola has more championships than anyone else in the series. Now, granted, most of them are dev, driver, and manufacturer championships, because he's one of only a few drivers allowed to do full-time running there, but he has very experience in championship circumstances. And now, coming into the party right now is XRL Dave. Dave, go ahead, include your audio. Very interesting scenario there, because both you and your teammate Collie Boy spun out in the exact same part of the track. The difference is he was able to keep it out of the wall. You were not. What happened out there?
I just lost the back end of it, and there was something severely wrong with this game because I literally grazed the barrier slightly and my wheel disappeared. There's a real issue with the damage model in this game right now.
Alright, you're saying that the wheel disappeared, like vanished.
Like
okay. Okay.
With minimal contact, happened yesterday too. It's really inconsistent. It's really unrealistic with the damage that's happening.
Alright, well, rough for you. It looks like you're going to be starting last or next to last in this race. Do you think you have the car and the strategy necessary to get you up near the front today?
Yeah, it should be okay. I think there's going to be a number of incidents today, so I'll just do my strategy from last season, just keep it smooth, don't try to outpace the car, and just let everyone make mistakes around me.
Alright, well, the strategy of slow is smooth and smooth is fast has shown many a driver before. Podiums and victory lanes maybe will work out for you as well.
Cheers, man.
Well, that's the word from XRL Dave. His teammate Collie is on an outlap right now after coming in to swap onto a different set of soft tires. That's another change in qualifying this season. Oh, Mercedes. Around that, Snake again, who has spun in the same place that Dave and Collie has. So Snake in the Mercedes is having trouble with the, I would guess, the suspension or the car under braking, immediately accelerating out of a corner, out of a high-speed corner, or at that. That's 3 spins that Snake has had in Sector 2 right now, and his best time, a 152.647, shows that. And he's very low on fuel as well. And the good news for Snake is that with Mercedes AMG 563 taking a penalty and not being allowed to qualify, and then XRL Dave having crashed out, Snake is guaranteed with that time to make it to the next round. But that doesn't change the fact that it's still very, very, very problematic to see this many incidents for him. This is XRL MSC SF7, also known as Schumacher SF7. He has gone ahead and made a secondary account just for this series. But Schumacher, this is his 4th season, 3rd full-time season in XRL X3. Number 2 driver for Ferrari 2 seasons ago. Last season he was their number 1 driver, but it was a truncated season, and although he was leading the points mid-season, he had to miss races late, so he fell out of championship contention. This season that's not the case. He says, hey look, I'm the number 1 driver on the team. He feels very confident with his teammate Flavor and says that Flavor has taken some significant steps forward into this season, thinks that they can be a great duo to 10 for both the Drivers and Manufacturers Championship, again like they did in the first season of X3 on F1 2021. Right now, 107.566 at the end of Sector 2. Schumacher is going to try and be the 12th driver in the session to set a lap time. Exits the spot, has yet to begin his lap. He's in an outlap. And Plastic Love is still on pit lane, has not yet come out onto the track to begin to set a lap in this session. Ferrari coming down to the line, 129.648. So right now, SF7 and Dragon are the only 2 drivers who have made it into the 129 range. Here comes X, hits the spot as he will begin a lap now. Alright. You good to go?
Yeah, I'm in.
Alright. Well, coming into the party officially will be the co-broadcaster for today's race, XRL Shakari. Shakari, as I've sometimes called you intentionally on accident, Shakira, but Shakari, go ahead, make sure your audio is included. It's great to have you here in the broadcasting booth and see that you still have your fingers in X3 in some way or another.
Yeah, man. New season in XRL, let's do it. I'm very excited.
Alright, so let's start off. For starters, you, my friend, you have a lot of history and a lot of experience driving in the prior games. Now you're coming into this one. Big changes from your perspective as a driver from the prior F1 games to this one.
Handling is a lot different. Well, it's a bit different. In time trial, it's a lot more slidey. I don't know what it'll be like in the race though. Could be a little bit awkward.
Alright, other changes to note, and we're going to see this here in qualifying, there is no more swapping between tires. You run soft tires throughout Q1, Q2, Q3. There are only 4 sets of soft tires given. There are only 4 sets of soft tires given to you for a race weekend. 5 if you have practice, but we aren't doing practice. 4 sets of soft tires. You do the math, it's more likely that you may not have any good sets of soft tires left for the race itself. I think that this change has pretty much locked everyone in to trying to just do single stop medium hards or hard mediums for a lot of the races on the calendar, just because there's not going to be a lot of soft tires that are fresh, ready to go.
No, not at all. You don't get a set of soft. I mean, if you play it right, you've got like a set with maybe 3, 4, 5% wear, which you could put on at the end. But I think, I think you're right that the game is a lot more medium hard, medium soft kind of thing.
Alright, Plastic Love is finally coming out of pit lane, beginning to get a lap in. And you missed it, but big instance in Q2, we saw both of the Alfa Romeos, Collie Boy and Dave, spin out, almost run right after another in the end of Sector 2, just as they began to come uphill. The difference is that Collie Boy was able to arrest the spin, was able to keep going. Dave ended up hitting the inside wall, and he said that he doesn't feel confident with the damage model of the game, either that or it's the structural integrity of the front suspension. He said he made very, very light contact with the inside wall, and it took the left front tire off.
Yeah.
So that's something else to consider.
As you say that, coming out of the DRS straight, going around the twisty bit, XRL Snake has spun out.
And that is the same place that he spun on his last flyer. That's the same place that Collie Boy and Dave spun out at. So we know that there is something fundamentally wrong with the setup of that Mercedes. And considering that, although that is a high-speed X-Team corner, you are basically going around. Oh, and Herbie has just gotten disqualified for running off there and spinning.
Parked in a dangerous location, it says. Yeah.
But he's off the racing line. That's bullcrap, I say.
Yeah, obviously the game isn't 100% fixed. Let's hope they release some updates this week as well. Because formation map's very awkward at the minute. And Plastic has just started his lap, it seems.
Alright, coming to the party right now is AK Herbie. Herbie, go ahead and include your audio. You had a time in, spun at the start of Sector 3, and the game's disqualified you. What happened?
So, as you saw, I went and did a lap time. Didn't improve on the lap time I already posted, so I thought I'd go again. Turned on at turn 2 to 3. Spun into the gravel, and my car got stuck. It wouldn't move off the gravel at all. I've tried everything I could to get off, and it just wouldn't move.
Well, rough for you. Now it seems like you're going to be starting dead last in this field. I hate to say it. Do you think you have the strategy and the car underneath you to get a good run into the points-paying positions?
I think so. I think I got a good chance of stopping in at least in the top 10. I'm looking to be in the top 8 tonight. Hopefully, fingers crossed. But in that lap I did. I had a faster sector 2, and I didn't have a really sector 1. I didn't have a fantastic sector 2 into 3. Then obviously I tried to do it again, and then obviously I got this thing caught in the gravel, and then that was it. Me done for this evening.
All right. Well, shame to see this happen to you, mate. Hopefully, if we do talk to you again, it's after the race is over from an outstanding comeback drive, and not in the middle of it.
Fingers crossed, fingers crossed. But I feel like we've got a good strategy. I believe in Snake getting his car up there with him and fighting through it, and hopefully we can get some decent points this evening.
Yeah, about that. Hopefully you two can exchange some information for setup or something before you get too deep into the race, because he's been having some horrible time out there.
Yeah, we've been looking at some settings and everything that he's got with his front and rear wing. We've been comparing some of our setups together, and we've noticed some slight issues with setups that he's got different to mine. It's probably causing more issues because he's spinning off at some points that I don't. So we'll keep looking through it, and we'll hopefully nail it.
Alright, well I do want to say thanks for being willing to jump in and talk with us. We look forward to hopefully talking to you again in future races under less negative circumstances.
Aye, fingers crossed. But anyway, I'll speak to you guys later.
Alright, right off the bat, Shikari, looking at this is going to get kind of interesting. Top 11, big gap just amongst the top 11. And then you take in Snake and Plastic Love, 12th and 13th, over 23 seconds, both of them off of time, because neither of them could set times without having spins in Sector 2.
Yeah, while you was talking to Herbie, I saw Plastic spin out at the start of his lap, and I saw Snake spin out as well.
Yeah. So I think without a doubt we can be looking at a scenario where the field is going to be extremely spread out from top to bottom. Now, granted, under qualifying, you're normally putting a lot more effort and energy into your laps. Under the race, you're normally just trying to get into a groove. You're not pushing 100% of
Yeah.
the lap. But that could really spell doom potentially for those drivers if they find themselves in a position where they have to fight to hold their spot on the track, or they need to push hard to make a strategy work out.
Yeah, and we forgot to mention as well in Q1, Mercedes AMG got through to Q2. He didn't actually set a lap time.
Yeah, he's serving the qualifying ban, but now he is going to be guaranteed at least a 14th spot, and it could even be higher. He could end up starting higher and higher up the grid if we continue to see drivers having disqualifications and accidents.
Yeah, it could well be. At the minute, he is tied in 10th. Obviously, we expect everyone to set a lap time here, even if it is 1 minute 50.
Yeah.
But first out of the pits looks like Golminator.
Culminator there in the Alpine, trying to get the tires nice and warmed up right now.
Yeah, you come out of the pits and it's 70 Celsius. Not hot at all.
Sha'Carri, you've been in X3 for a long time. You've been a championship contender in X3 before. So when you start a new season, normally with a new car or even with a new game, for the first race, what is your outlook? How do you tackle this first race? Knowing that, yes, the big eye on the prize long-term is the championship, but here, everyone seems to be on even footing. How do you approach the race in that scenario?
Just get points. The aim is, depends on the driver, but I think for most drivers here it would be to at least get some points on the board. You can't win the championship in the first race. But you know, if you keep getting in the top 10 most weeks, then you're going to be up there. Right.
Make a fair point. Although, I personally will go ahead and say I don't think getting into the top 10 every week is going to win you a championship.
Oh, no, but you'll be up
because there. The top... Oh yeah, you'll be up there, but not fighting directly for a title.
No.
I'll go ahead and point out to many seasons of X3 and Realistic, and then even some stuff I've seen in Dev and X2. There are lots of drivers who are able to consistently make their way into the top 10. They're always finishing 8th, 9th, 10th, somewhere around there. But if you're only earning a handful of points every week, that's not going to help you out. I'm going to go ahead and say you need to push hard, and you need to be finishing top 6 every single week if you want a serious shot at the title.
Yeah. In this first race of the season, aim for top 5. I think there's a lot of drivers here that could easily get a top 5. If you can do that on a consistent basis, I do agree, you will be up there. Obviously there'll be weeks where drivers crash out, drivers aren't as fast, and everyone has a favourite track. It's a long season ahead.
Things are not looking good for Plastic Love. He spun on his outlap. He's now had a spin at the end of Sector 1 on this flying lap, which has invalidated this circuit. So things are going very, very rough for him, to say the least.
Indeed. Culminator is having an okay lap, it looks like.
Yeah, he's going to be the first one to come across the line and set a time that everyone else will be chasing here.
Yeah.
I will say this, I do wish there would be some sort of change to qualifying, just so we had a little bit more tires available in the race itself. What I would like to see is you're required to use hards in Q1, you're required to use mediums in Q2, you're required to use softs in Q3. Keep the tire allocation the same, but that way softs can still be, you know, a reasonable, respected option in the race itself.
Or just give people an extra set of softs at the start of the race, so they've got 5 instead of 4. But one's like locked out for the race itself, so everyone's got fresh tires.
Oh, that could work, yeah. All right, well, I wanted to, because I tried to do it last session and I wasn't able to. We're gonna go ahead and ride on board silently with XRL Snake, and hopefully, fingers crossed, as we ride on board with him, he'll be able to get a proper lap in without spinning, and you'll get to see what it's like to run the very, very sexually appealing Mercedes W13 here around Bahrain in this game. Invalidated, and this time it wasn't from a spin. He ends up cutting the inside of the final corner, well, the second to last corner, a little bit too tight, and that disqualified that lap. So we'll have to eventually find someone else to ride on board with for a proper flyer. Mantic Meerkat, though, in the McLaren, is on his way to the line right now. He's going to try and be the 8th driver to get a lap in this session.
Yeah, just been watching Cooley Boy. He's gone up to 3rd. 1 minute 30.0. Mantic 4th.
Gusty is at the top right now, 129.757, so he is one of 4 drivers to have set times in the 129s thus far today. Zola turning that Red Bull onto the Sector 2 back straightaway. Now, I've said this before, Zola, most successful driver in XRL in terms of number of championships won. Most of them have come at the dev level, but he has contended for titles in X2 before. I think that if Zola can get to grips and kind of jive with this game well, I think he is one of, if not the favorite, for the championship this season.
There's a number of people here that could win the title. You've got Gusty and MSC up there. Even Cooley could be up there at the end. Zola, maybe even Mantic. Depends on race pace. But the kind of top 5 that we see here, I think, will be up there.
But of course, yellow flags and race strategy can really upend that. Last thing you want to do is be left out on a set of dead hards if everyone behind you is on flying mediums.
Oh yeah, definitely. You don't want to be stuck with bad tires.
Exits a spot in the middle of a lap right now. He'll try and be the... Oh, someone has a spin, and that is Plastic Love on his outlap, who has had a spin in the final corner. And with that, I think it's going to automatically invalidate the start of this next... No, this lap is good, but he's very slow at the start of this lap, so this is not looking good for Plastic Love at all. As, is he glitching all around the track for you as well?
Yes, he is. Yeah, he is lagging a little bit. When riding on board, yeah, I'll get that recorded, I think.
I hope they're able to get that fixed.
Yes. Exits the spot. It's coming down the back straight.
Yeah, the only non-DRS straight here on the circuit. Navigates his way around the final corner and now comes to the line, and it will be a 1 minute 30, no, 129.711, and exits the spot, goes to the top in that Alpine machine.
Nice lap. Nice lap.
Oh, also, another thing of note, and this was actually so big and so significant of a thing, the officials for XRL went ahead and made a giant post about it, and Plastic Love has just had another spin in Sector 2. But big thing, coming out of pit lane, you have to brake so much earlier than you did before, because for one, the cars are heavier, the tires have a lot less give to them, and they take a lot longer to initially get up to temperature.
Yeah.
So because of that, you have to jump onto the brake super early, otherwise you run the risk of spearing into the side of someone else going into turn 1.
Yeah, you got to warm up your tires. Tires are very, very cold. XRL Dragon. Final corner for him. But he's going into the pits. He does not want to set this time.
Dragon had one of the few times in the 129's last session, but it does not look like he's too miffed about one way or another. Right now, 13 drivers fighting for 10 spots. Dad Stop Gaming is on the bubble. XRO Flavor is on the outside looking in. Now, rumor I've heard is that the Ferraris are going to try and run scuffed tires in Q2 so they could have an extra set of fresh tires either left over for Q3 or the race itself. That might not be a problem for MSC SF7 right now, but that does seem to be a problem for Flavor at the moment, who is 11th.
Yeah, he's going to have to use a fresh one, I think. He's just outside the top 10.
problem is, if he uses a fresh one, that may encourage everyone around him to go back out with fresher tires as well. 9th and 10th, Laser, 517, and Dad Stop Gaming have both come back onto the circuit as well, so they want to improve. Dad Stop Gaming knows he's on the bubble, and Laser is uncomfortably close to it, so they're trying to get away from that point right now. Snake, again trying, and I'm riding on board with him right now, he's again trying to get a lap in. The final third of Sector 2 has been his big problem area thus far. Now, he's had spins in other parts of the racetrack, but the final third of Sector 2 has been the #1 issue for him thus far. Can he get through this time without a spin or without a corner cut? This might be it. There's only one corner left for Snake.
Unless he spins it here. Let's see. Oh. Yeah, he's alright now. He's on the
You're right,
power.
he's coming to the line. And at the line, Snake will say 130.803. That's good enough for 9th. So he is in. Dad Stop Gaming is out. Laser is on the bubble now. Plastic Glove, the other driver who's had a lot of struggles thus far. Can he get a lap in? Not if he's way off circuit on his outlap like that.
Plastic outlap. Dad Stop Gaming's just started his lap. MSC is on a lap in 3rd. I think Laser is as well. In 10th. 4 tenths up as well as Laser.
Gusty goes ahead and retires in pit lane.
Yeah, 30.4, half second up, 7th place for Laser so far.
And that is Plastic Love, who's pulled off there in Sector 3 to let other drivers sneak on by.
And MSC goes into the pit lane.
So he went out there, kind of
That is
pounded
not
the
the
majority of a lap out. Yeah.
I was just looking at Laser, he was off track.
Oh. Well, Laser's improved up to 7th, though, at least with a 130.449. Now, let's watch Plastic Love. It looks like he's taking care of the lag issues. Oh, and that is a Alpine that has spun around.
Culminator.
So Gulminator, who was on an outlap trying to improve, spins right at the start, so he's going to come probably right into the pits immediately.
Oh.
Oh, and Plastic Love's been
disconnected.
Kicked.
Yeah. Left the session, he's been disconnected. On into the pit lane, that'll be his qualifying over.
Yeah, he will not advance. So now it is between Dragon, Snake, Dad Stop Gaming, and XRL Flavor to make it into the final round of qualifying. Flavor already on an outlap. He is already responding to the circumstances.
Yeah, Dragon's about to set his time. Goes up to 3rd with a 29.8.
Alright, so now Gulminator has been squeezed down to 9th, and with less than a minute on the clock, he's not going to be able to improve. So if you can beat a 130.567, you should be good.
It looks like Laser will be next across the line. He is 12 seconds up down though on his time, and he's going straight into the pit lane. The next up will be Mantic Meerkat, followed by Dad Stop Gaming.
Dad Stop Gaming is down by almost a full half second at the end of Sector 2. I don't think he's going to be able to improve, and he's 11th right now, so it's really not looking good for him. Snake, on the other hand, has just set his fastest Sector 2 of the session, so Snake might be able to improve and, you know, open the gap a bit between himself, Dad Stop, and Flavor. As Snake comes around the final corner,
Dad Stop into
he's
the pits.
finally, I think, figured this track out and figured this car out. 130.391, that pushes him up to 8th.
That's him into Q2. So it's between Flavor and Gulminator. Gulminator in 10th, Flavor in 12th.
Flavor's improved by 1/3 of a second, but he'll need a bigger improvement than that. He gets to overtake Dad Stop. He'll need an improvement of over a full second if he wants to beat Gulminator.
So let's see then.
To the line.
Ooh.
He's up to 11th, but will not be able to make it into the final round of qualifying. And with that, qualifying is basically over. Zola and Collyboy both are on laps right now, and Zola's actually improved his time a bit. But Collyboy and Zola are already both locked in to the final round of qualifying.
Oh, cool. He goes up to
Collyboy, 29.8.
Just wait for Dragon to get into the pits, and then that'll be the qualifying over.
So, Mercedes out due to a qualifying ban, so he will still start he is locked into a 14th starting position. Plastic Love will be starting 13th, but connection issues might end up derailing his entire day, frankly. Dad Stop Gaming was finally able to get some laps in, but he's well off the pace and the only driver still in the 31s. XRL Flavor, if the rumors that I heard are true that the Ferraris are trying to run scuffed tires only in Q2, that has really turned around and bit them in the rear end. Gulminator in the Alpine just barely makes it in despite having spins when he tried to improve on his time. So very interesting midfield fight I think we're going to see here. But now we're going to prepare to get underway for the race itself, and look at this right now. Everyone from 1st to 7th within 3/10 of each other, and I guarantee you some of those drivers have a little bit more in the bag that they are holding back.
Oh, definitely. We'll see true pace here in Q3.
Alright, so now we prepare to get underway for this final round of qualifying.
Yep. Okay, the first.
Seeing a little bit of movement out of the Ferrari camp and the Alpine camp. That is exits the spot, who is already coming out. Gulminator, though, looks like he'll try to be the first one out. He was beaten by Gusty, actually. It will be Gusty who will be the first driver onto the track here.
Gusty's the first one.
And we're getting word that Plastic Love is back into the session now, but sadly too little too late.
Yeah, at least he'll be there for the race.
So about 3/5 of the field out on track, about to see even more than that coming out as I'm seeing an AlphaTauri and Aston Martin making their way down the pit lane exit right now. So Zola, Collyboy, and Snake all kind of standing by, waiting to get underway. Snake, really interesting scenario for him getting here, considering he had no fewer than 4 spins in Q1, and then 2 more invalid laps in Q2.
Yeah.
Now he's here in Q3 all of a sudden, but for him, he's burned through so many tires just from spinning. I have to wonder, does he even have any good sets of tires left to post a decent time here in this final round of qualifying?
Maybe we won't know, will we? We have to ask him at the end of the race, I think, if he comes into the party. Gusty starting his lap then. Pace setter in Q2. Fastest lap. Will he be able to replicate it or do any better? Scalar Sugar's joined.
Yeah, so he was supposed to be in this race, but he was going to miss qualifying one way or another. Another driver, Fratters, was initially hoping to run today, but ended up having to pull out due to personal issues. So we will have a slightly smaller than normal field. I'm thinking we're only looking at like 16, maybe 17 drivers for today's event. So
not a bad number.
Well, considering the general unpopularity of this game with a lot of the drivers have really gotten used to the handling models of F1 2020 and F1 2021. And here's the thing, drivers don't like change unless it makes them faster.
No.
And the changes that we see going from the changes we've seen going from the prior generation of cars to this generation of cars, you're not going to be going faster. There's less overbody downforce, there's more underbody downforce, meaning that you'll be faster in someone's toe, but you'll be slower by yourself going through corners. That coupled with the fact that the cars are now heavier for the first time in decades. Formula One cars are on the same weight level as an American Indy car. They now are also going to be slower on acceleration. So overall, the F1 cars are slower than what they were before. With that in mind, every driver is going to be complaining during a fit about that, because now they see, hey, look, my times are off compared to what they should be. They're going to be pushing a lot harder, chucking the cars, really testing the limits a lot more, and you can't get away with doing that with an F1 car. Formula One cars in the very classic European style of race car design, they're kind of on a nice thin line of performance, and if you get them beyond that, everything kind of falls apart. Laser 517 has had a spin there in Sector 2.
I think it's better to compare, instead of rather than comparing yourself to a previous game, compare yourself to other drivers in your tier or in a different tier or whoever you want, but compared to different people. See how you get on and go from there. Mantic 5th, Dragon 3rd. Who's next to cross the line? It's Laser, but he's going into the pit, and then Zola will be starting his lap.
Yeah, so Snake is actually the next person to try and get a lap in.
Yep.
Big question for him, does he have any good tires that he can utilize?
Let's see, he's done a purple Q1. I don't know if...
Yeah, but it's always going to say a purple Q1 just because it's his first time out there. Dragon has had a spin in his Aston Martin there at the end of Sector 1.
It still does that thing then where instead of being purple for the session, it's purple for you. Okay. He hasn't spun yet. Plastic's back in.
Down the non-DRS straight for Snake. He'll be the 7th driver to set a time.
But what time will it be? Let's find out.
By the looks of it, we're looking at 129.904. So Snake, despite all his headaches early on, has now pushed himself into the 29s.
Yeah. P6 for him.
Next driver that will set a time will be this man here, XRL Zola. Oh, and he's around! And he spins, and he just barely keeps it off the inside. He makes a little bit of contact with the inside wall. I don't know if there's any wing damage, but that lap is now going to be no bueno.
Still a valid lap, though. It's not invalid.
Yeah, but considering it's Q3, he'll obviously want to try and go again.
Of course he will.
So will he go ahead and pit to repair wing damage, or will he stick it out and just try to get another lap in?
It may
he
be
hit
a
the
pit
wall
just
relatively
for fresh tires,
square.
to be honest.
True, but there's not that many tires left once you're in Q3.
They'll have one set left. One in Q1, one in Q2, and 2 in Q3.
Yeah, here he comes. It looks like they're not repairing damage to the wing. They're just going to wheel him into pit lane. So I'm guessing Zola hit that wall at a light enough speed and at square enough that may not have actually caused any serious damage.
Nah, I didn't.
Only 3 drivers.
Wall, did he?
He just kind of grazed and rode it for a bit.
Yeah.
Only 3 drivers have not set times thus far. Laser, Collie Boy, and Zola. And just as I was saying his name, Collie Boy has spun in Sector 2, immediately turns it back around, keeps it going.
If I was him, I'd be saving up ERS. Go again.
You need about 58%, 58 to 60% of ERS to go full beans for an entire lap. He's at 54 right now.
Yeah. 56, 57.
This will have to do it. 59.
Yeah, he's pitting.
Yeah, he's avoiding the pits.
Yeah.
Well, Laser and Gulminator have both come back out onto the circuit. They want to go faster. Gusty and Dragon have done the same. X hits the spot in the Alpine right now, is currently on top with a 29.122. Do you think that we'll be able to see any times in the 128s?
There is very much a potential for a 28 lap. I think we could see it from Gusty and X hits the spot. Maybe Dragon, but we'll see.
And we'll see. Laser crossing the line as he is now getting his lap underway.
Yeah, Gusty's...
Only AlphaTauri to make it into the final round of qualifying here.
Yeah, Gusty's coming up to the end of Sector 1. He's only a 100th up. Only a 100th up, so work to be done. Gusty, then Sector 2 time will be 2/10 up.
107.109. Now that in itself, though, for Gusty would not be enough to put him over X hits the spot.
Let's see if he can gain a little bit more time here then. So I think if...
Well, he's low on fuel, so the car is going to be the lightest it's going to be this entire session. He's around!
Too heavy on the throttle. You heard the throttle. You heard the throttle when he spun. It was just a little bit too much power.
Couple that with the fact that Haas was off the ideal racing line, navigating the final corner, and it really compromised it. And I think that's going to be it for Gusty. We do have a little bit more than 2 minutes left, but again, the number of soft tires available, I don't know if Gusty's going to be able to go out there and make anything go faster.
He might not have much time. He doesn't have much time left. I don't know if he can get out quick enough, to be honest.
Yeah. Collie Boy and Zola both on outlaps, as is SF7, Meerkat, and Snake.
I'm just watching Dragon at the minute, who's way off the racing line. And he's slowed down. He's aborted his lap to let Cooley through.
Trying to charge the ERS back up as well by the looks of it. He's up to about 67%. Dragon right now third. A front row position could be his if he can improve by about 2/10. But he's very low on fuel right now as well. That fuel light is flashing very aggressively.
Yeah, Laser has invalidated, and Fradders has joined. So
Alright, here comes Dragon into the pits. So Dragon will not be running another lap here because we have less than a minute left now. Well, just a bit over a minute left. Less than a lap time left. So if you're not already on track, you're not going to get a lap in.
Romantic. Just coming to the end of Sector 2.
Gusty and X is the spot, both on outlaps. I don't know if Gusty is going to make it to the line in time to get a lap.
Died. Mantic has retired.
Wow!
He crashed it into the wall at the sector line where 2 and 3, 2 ends and 3 start. Spun there.
Good news is he is guaranteed at least a top 10, at best a top 5 starting position. Gonna try and get Meerkat into the party here real quickly. And Gulminator has aborted his attempt to improve. Here comes Collie Boy. Here comes Zola uphill. Well, Zola's downhill. Collie Boy's uphill. Oh, and Collie invalidated. And with this little time left, I don't think he's going to be able to get another lap in.
Depends how long's left. Oh, that's it, done.
It's up. Time's up. Over. Plow.
P9 for him.
Zola in 10th could maybe steal 9th if he can just get a lap in. Doesn't even have to be a fast lap. Just get a lap in and Zola can at least start 9th.
Yeah. Oh, it has to be. MSC will be next to cross the line, it looks like. Followed by Snake. And then Zola.
SF7 coming out of the final corner. Bringing that Ferrari down the straight and at the line. He will set a 129.157. That's good enough for second. Very close to getting pole.
Yeah, pushes Gusty.
Snake moves up to
Zola
4th,
invalidated.
29.4. And for both Collie Boy and Zola, they waited too long to get their proper laps in, and by the time they did, it went nowhere. Laser has had a spin and invalidation in
So it's
Sector
just-
2, so
Yeah. X hits the spot is the last
X
one.
is up. Is X going to make it into the 28s?
Yes, he is.
He does!
28.9.
Outstanding job by X hits the spot in the Alpine.
That's really good from him.
And Dragon at the last moment was also able to improve up to 5th, 129.593
Nice.
over Mantic Meerkat.
I'm interested to see
And
how
with-
Dragon does in the race. I know he's been practicing a lot, but it has been
I'm
on
reminded
TV.
back to the Realistic series when the last season of Realistic here at Bahrain, he started front row, has one of the fastest drivers all day long, immediately spanned lap 1, turn 1, fell
Yeah.
right to the back of the grid, went ahead, jumped on an alternate strategy, went from 20th all the way up to a 2nd place finish. We know he can be good here, but he needs to not be overconfident.
Yeah. P5 is good, but it'll be interesting to see how he does in the race. I think the other people in the top 5 will be fine going into turn 1. They're all seasoned veterans of X3.
I mean, at this point, Dragon's a veteran also, but Dragon saying that he's a veteran of the Realistic series. He
He
doesn't
is.
normally run a lot of races on the Sundays.
Not anymore, no. Laser's new.
Right,
I'm
I'll be right
interested to see
back,
what he
give you
does.
just a bit.
Nice one. Zola in 10th. Coolie Boy. This is going to be a tricky one for them. Get a few overtakes though, and it'll be alright. So, in first place, exits the spot,
I think the-
128.9.
Yeah, I think one of the interesting things to look at, of the 8 drivers that did get times in, all of their times are within a second of each other.
Indeed.
But it's very much backloaded. So X has a pretty sizable gap to Schumacher, and then Shui has a significant gap to Gusty. And then once you get from Gusty on back, everyone's times
Less
start
than
getting
half a
clustered
tenth.
a little bit closer together. So
6th,
if
7th,
you
and
can, if you can go ahead and transfer that exact same pace in single car qualifying to your actual race pace, we could see a scenario where first and second, maybe even third, just kind of walk off by themselves, but then everyone else is all caught on each other in a giant DRS train.
Yeah, maybe.
And-
We will see.
And that's the other thing, DRS trains. What we say about DRS trains, they used to be called Truly trains, and now they're called DRS trains because Jarno Truly doesn't race anymore. There's normally a slightly slower driver up front, but that slower driver is just good enough getting out of the corners that even with DRS, second place can't catch them. Now, those two end up being so slow, they're compromising each other's lap time so much that a third driver, fourth driver, fifth driver, and so on in line behind catches up, and then you have a massive train of cars where everyone behind in the pack says, hey, look, I'm faster, I should be ahead, and you definitely get the illusion that you're faster if you have DRS, but you're like, why can't I get by the guy ahead? And for everyone third, fourth, fifth on back in a line, those drivers are all having DRS, both as an offensive as defensive. All their advantages kind of get neutralized amongst each other, and it's really, really hard to make overtakes without DRS. You can do it. I was fortunate enough I was able to make a bunch of them yesterday, but it's very difficult to do. And then for those at the front, it's normally just the person up front may be slower, but is smarter with his speed rather over the second place driver.
Yeah,
A
all
truly
depends,
trained
doesn't it?
or DRS. Yeah, truly trains or DRS trains, one of the most frustrating things in Formula One for decades.
All it
to be
takes,
honest.
if you're in one of those trains, all it takes is one mistake from someone ahead of you, and then you're in. And everyone's
Yeah, that's
happy
the
again.
counterpoint, though. Yeah.
But anyway, I need to grab a drink. I will be back in a couple of minutes.
All right, so looking at the tire compound selection for race start at the moment, Fratters, who missed qualifying but will be starting 17th, he is apparently going to try and start on soft tires. Everyone else starting on mediums with the exception of X hits the spot in the Alpine. He wants to start this race on hards. So this could be very interesting. I've talked to drivers. They say, hey, look, you want to start with medium tires. You don't want to start the hards because the hards take so long to warm up. It could be very, very interesting to see how X's Spots tries to overcome it, because he's going to be getting the slower tires out of the way early on, but that means that he'll have faster tires later in the race. So that could get very interesting. And again, if there are yellow flags, things could go one way or another as well, because yellow flags mean that you might end up swapping from a hard medium strategy to potentially a hard jumping onto a set of used softs near the end of the race, if the softs aren't too badly cooked. Alright, standing by right now, waiting to get underway for the race itself. 17 drivers will be taken to the circuit here. Apparently there will be a delay with the start of the race as drivers are having issues with the lobby setup right now. But again, we look at the tire compounds and it does seem like it's still the way it says. Everyone with the exception of Fratters in the back and exit spot in the front starting on the medium tire compounds.
What'll be interesting is seeing what tyres people are on.
Everyone seems to be on mediums with the exception of X at the front and then Fratters at the very back. So relatively big similarity in tire strategy across the board.
Yeah. X wanting to go along, everyone else happy. And in about, I don't know how many laps it is, to be honest.
Yeah, but issues with the lobby means that we will be starting a little bit behind schedule for the race itself. This is a long wait, and we're also getting word now that the issues may be so bad that might warrant a lobby reset. I'd hope not, because that normally takes another 15 minutes in itself. But we're not the only one. Apparently, the X1 division is also having similar issues right now.
That's good, isn't it? I'll play the next one. I'm guessing it's someone who disconnected now.
Yeah, we're not getting any more information or word over here on the broadcasting side right now, so we're just kind of standing by and waiting awkwardly. Apparently there was a meteor that flew over Salt Lake City low enough to cause a sonic boom last night.
Oh, wow.
I must have been asleep for that.
Now sitting in the dark because the sun is in my eyes.
What you need to do, maybe, is you need to drink some Sunny D so you can
Sunny
embrace the
D.
power of the sun. Also, this broadcast not sponsored by Sunny D, but if Sunny D does want to go ahead and get their shit sponsored here, go ahead and contact the XRL officials. They might be able to hook you up, you know.
Sunny D, for goodness sake. I hadn't heard of that for a long time. Right, lobby restart, lovely.
Well, how does this change things? Well, for one, this means that we now will have a lot fewer. Everyone will have an extra set of soft tires that they can use in the race, basically. So everyone will have a set of soft, set of medium, set of hards. This also means that we can have a little bit more variety when it comes to tire strategy in the event itself.
New lobby's up.
Thank you.
You are welcome.
And normally, you know, under a circumstance like this, we would go ahead and we would talk about the points or something. It's the first race of the season. This is how the points look right now. Exits the spot has 1 point for pole position. Everyone else is dead even with 0 points.
So instead of talking about the points, let's talk about who you think will win the title. Who's your pick?
I would go ahead and have to say Zola. I personally would never bet against Zola. In a situation like this, he has more experience running and winning championships than anyone else. Yes, a lot of them are in Dev, where there's only a handful of drivers that can compete. But Zola's been under all sorts of types of title pressures before. I think Zola in the Red Bull wins the championship. Which would actually end up making it really hilarious, because then Zola would have to get kicked up to the next tier.
You have to get back up to X2.
Yeah, and then it's like, well, we need to put somebody who's a official in the lower tier, but...
You've got Dave and Cooley now.
Oh, you do make a good point.
So... Yeah, I think it's more comms rather than racing. Be whether than sneaker in now. Wait, another couple more. just waiting.
Yep, just extend standing by, and we do apologize in the broadcast booth, but quite literally, like, we are given nothing to talk about. That's race related. Now, I could talk a whole lot about other stuff. I could talk about real world politics. I could talk about ponies. I could talk about real life racing outside of Formula One. All sorts of stuff. But it doesn't relate to XRL. It doesn't relate to F1. And because of that, it's like, that's not practical to speak on. We're still waiting on drivers to show up. Apparently, we are missing drivers right now.
We are. There's 40. We're missing 2 or 3. Quite a few. We're on 16 now. And we have 17.
Alright, so we should get the race itself going shortly then.
Hopefully. And now. Oh, someone's quit. Now. We wait for.
Yeah. Well, real quickly, let's go over a rundown of the big changes we know of from last game to this game. New engine, for one. Although the game does feel, at least in my opinion, very similar to the last one. New engine. Tires, you now have the actual wheel itself taking a lot more space. Because of that, there's a lot less air in the tires itself. There's a lot less flex and sprain in the tires. Because of that, that has a lot of knock-on effect on the overall suspension setup. The cars are way, way stiffer and a lot less tolerant of curbs and bumps than they were before. The cars are heavier. They now are equal to an Indy car in weight, although they still have a lot more power, about 750 compared to roughly 1,050 at the top end of both. You also now have more underbody downforce, so a lot more of the air goes under the car because of that. Instead of the nose being down, the ass being up in the air, now the nose is pointed up a bit so some air can get underneath the car, and the rear wing is slung nice way down low, as opposed. Do that underbody downforce, you're now able to follow the cars ahead a lot closer until you get right behind. That's one big important thing. Now with all the extra underbody downforce, when the air goes under the car, it spits it right out into your face. So you can't run nose to tail like you used to be able to in the last generation of cars. But it's a lot easier to run about one car length or more behind the driver ahead of you. So overall, that's improved the following capability. That in turn has gone to DRS. DRS now has a lot more of an effect, and we are seeing some tracks across the schedule actually tuning down their DRS zones simply because the DRS effect is significantly more powerful now than it used to be. Again, the core element of DRS is to try and get two drivers side by side going into a corner. It's not supposed to be an automatic overtake button, even though that's normally what it turns into anyway, and DRS overtakes are not real overtakes. Also, tires, we no longer have Q2 deciding what tires the top 10 start the race on. You can start your race on whatever tire you want, and ideally that just means everyone uses only softs throughout Q1, Q2, Q3. So with that in mind, there are a lot less soft tires available for the race itself, unless you qualify near the rear of the grid. So because of that, that has a knock-on effect on tire strategy. Medium hards or hard mediums are a more idealized strategy now for most of the races across the schedule. Is there anything else I'm missing?
I don't think so. I think you've got it all there. Hey, we're going.
I guess we're just going to lose that 17th driver, so...
Yeah. It's plastic. Keeps disconnecting today. We can't wait all day. We're gonna go. And people just selecting their one set of tyres. What we got?
Here we are. Alright, and real quickly we go ahead, look at the grid, who's starting on what. It looks like right now everyone is going to start on the mediums. So Exit Spot has gone ahead, foregone the hard, and is now looking to start on medium tires.
Yeah. That could easily change that. All he has to do is press a button. But for now, everyone's on mediums, aren't they? Don't know why.
Looks like the X1 division is finally. Looks like the X1 division is finally getting themselves underway, so we should be following shortly afterwards.
Yeah, 3 minutes. Yeah, X has changed back to hards now. So everyone on mediums except exits the spot. Two minutes. One last check of the tyres then. Remember, oh, Gusty's changed to hards now.
Oh, this could be interesting then.
Good.
Gusty starting third, and him along with X's spot are on the hards. Everyone else still committing to mediums.
They'd be looking to do a medium hard then, do you reckon?
Probably.
Oh, here we go, look.
Here we are. Finally, after a 20-minute delay, we are going to get underway.
Oh, here we go, look. Formation lap.
The formation lap gets underway. And
Oh yeah, we still do. Oh yeah, formation laps are back. I forgot about that.
Sure
Yeah, but it's the broadcast one rather than the immersive one. So it's broadcast.
I wouldn't mind if we had normal ability over control of our broadcaster in the formation lap.
Grid to form up and get ready for lights out. Let's hope the race ahead today is a thrilling one that will go down as a memorable Grand Prix in the history books.
Oh wow, they just go straight to the grid. Wow, you don't actually watch the full lap.
At least it wastes a lot less of our time.
Yeah, if it was immersive it'd be better, but unfortunately everyone's tyres start really cold except for the host. So here we are then.
4 lights, 5 lights.
I'm gonna watch Dave, I think.
As lights out, away we go here at Bahrain,
Oh,
and immediately
Snake with
down
a
the
great
grid. Look
start.
at Snake. He had the amazing start, jumped right up to second. He's on the inside of X, hits the spot. He's gonna make the dive. Here comes Meerkat with the counter dive. Meerkat's gonna try and go by, and he goes to the top now. Around X hits the spot. X hits the spot, gets rear-ended by Snake. Schumacher is up in the 4th. Gusty is in 5th, fighting with Golminator for a 5th position, side by side as it run down the back straightaway. Golminator trying to get to the inside of the Ferrari, and there's contact. He spears to the side of him, and the two of them have trouble. The
Oh my
McLaren
God.
Meerkat is around out of the top spot as well.
Oh my gosh, at the back end, Meerkat's doing a ballet dance or something. He's spinning around. He's got hit by someone, I think. Zola's up to 5th. Oh, who's that? That's Herbie. Oh, and that stop gaming goes into the back of him, I think. It's all kicking off
And
back here.
Dadstop Gaming has lost his entire front wing as well. Gusty's fallen from 3rd to 6th. X the spot fell from 1st to about 4th. But then everyone who got by him had incidents in Sector 1, and now he's back in the lead. We're going to see a lot of drivers, though, pitting. And there is a AlphaTauri, I think, that's just gone around. Fratters has lost position of Flavor. I thought Laser went around, but it
Oh,
looked like he
Fratters has
saved it.
spun.
Now Fratters spuns right in the middle of the racing line. But it does look like everyone will avoid him, though.
Right, back on track.
Zola and Dragon fighting for 4th and 5th position. Zola by Dragon at the moment. X is the spot, sets a time of
Snakes in the pits.
16.021.
Snakes in the pits, so Zola and Dragon are now fighting for 3rd. Cooley up to 2nd, goodness gracious.
Indeed. But Snake, Herbie, Dadstop, Mantic, Meerkat all in pit lane. Fratter stays out on his tire, so he will cycle up into about the 11th position right now. So right now, all of your top 10 drivers, everyone in the point paint positions, all kind of grouped together. But 12th through 15th, all now on soft tires, and Herbie decided to throw on hard. So Herbie is betting that there's probably not going to be a yellow flag for a long time.
Yeah, Herbie going
So it'll be
long.
interesting to see if Yeah, it'll be interesting to watch that, if Herbie will eventually be able to use those hard tires to close in and overtake those drivers ahead of him.
An MSC here. SF7. Didn't get a great exit. He's actually losing time now to Gusty. I thought he was going to go for an overtake.
Well, he might just wait until the next lap. Again, on lap 3, DRS will kick on. And you don't want to be too close to the car ahead going through this uphill section. If you're right behind someone's rear wing, it will really, really harm your ability. Here comes Schumacher. He is right behind the Haas again. I think, though, that Ferrari has a bit more downforce than the Haas currently applied, because he does seem to lose speed, lose distance even with the draft on a straightaway.
Yeah,
DRS enabled officially.
That's Fratters again.
Fratters has just had another instant there in Sector 2, and now here comes Snake as he's going to try and blow by him.
MSE on the outside. Trying to get around. Couldn't do it. And he
actually ends up losing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not looking good for the Ferraris right now. Laser has DRS on the Haas. He's porpoising down the straight, but he's not close enough to get by him at the moment. A little bit farther up, Dragon is losing ground to Zola in Sector 2. The Aston Martin showing a lot of sensitivity in another car's aero wake right now. He is within DRS, and he'll use DRS to close in on that Red Bull down the back straightaway, but then that's automatically going to harm him when they start going uphill through through the uphill section of Sector 2, because he has to deal with a lot more aerodynamic wake. Again, the underbody downforce means that you'll have to deal with less wake from the car ahead, but there's still a significant amount of it. And that is Collie Boy, who's spun out of second position. And he is going to have to be waiting for a long time to get going. There he is. He's finally moving again, but he has dropped from second all the way down to the 10th position. Fratters, Snake, fighting for position. The Red Bull goes around right in front of the Mercedes. And Collie Boy, Fratters spins right in front of Snake. Snake gets a big chunk of the wing taken off in the process.
Laser going for an overtake on Gusty as well.
Laser has the power. He has the DRS. He's closing, but he's not going to be within the braking zone unless he sends it bonsai. He does not.
He tried.
Yeah, he broke late. Yeah, but he was not properly lined up for that whatsoever. It didn't really help anyone in that scenario. So with Collie Boy spin, exits the spot, and the hard tire compound now has a near 5-second gap on the rest of the grid right now. Schumacher looks to the outside of Laser going into that first of the two hairpins in Sector 2, but I think he was doing that just to try and preserve momentum. I don't think he was going for an actual overtake. Now we'll see Laser go once again, try and make an overtake on Gusty. Not close enough down the straight. I think both of the Haas cars are just kitted out with a lot less downforce than their rivals, so that way they can go ahead and just use pure straight line speed to keep drivers behind them.
Yeah, it's all about that straight line speed, because that's where you overtake on this track.
Meanwhile, for second position, Dragon is 2/3 of a second, about 3/4 of a second out from Zola. But he has DRS. He's not really relying on DRS, so he's just using DRS to stay within contact with him. Dominator on the soft tires has finally gotten by Fratters for the 11th position. Oh, and Zola and Dragon both missed the braking zone in turn 1.
Laser up to 4th then.
Can Gusty fight back? The answer seems to be no.
Turn 1.
Oh, and that's just off the racing line at the exit of turn 1. He finally gets underway, but he has now fallen to 9th. Here comes Collie Boy. He's going to probably blister by him here.
Yeah, and he does that.
Schumacher held up right behind Gusty at the moment, but Gusty still has DRS off of Laser, and he can use that as a defense. Here's the other thing. Gusty has the hard tires. His drivers around him have mediums, so the longer this battle goes on, the more and more it goes in Gusty's favor. As I say that, Gusty, completely blows the corner, and that lets Schumacher move up to 5th, and now he can try and barrel down Laser.
1.4 the gap.
The fight for second is still alive, though. Zola and Zola's around! And now Dragon goes up into second position as
Still in the
Zola
race.
spins at the
Still
top of
alive.
the hill. Yeah, Zola now falls to 6th position, right behind Gusty. So Laser now into 3rd.
Something about
And Schumacher,
I swear.
yellow flag. That's Collie Boy who has just
Oh
now
my
he has
God.
spun, coming onto the non-DRS straight as well. So like I said, these cars are a lot less forgiving when you run over the curbs, and because of that, if you're a little bit offline, you're going to go around. Fratters just very nearly spun himself in the same part of the track. He saved it but lost a chunk of time. Now he's under threat from Mantic Meerkat for 12th. So with all these spins, almost all the battles on track have pretty much deteriorated. Although Mantic Meerkat is closing down with speed
She's
on
gone the
Fratters.
DRS, so none of it left. We may just have to
All right,
spend
here
a
we
few
are,
laps.
Zola. Zola now beginning his comeback drive. He is behind Gusty. Again, though, Gusty has the hard tires. Zola has mediums that now have excess wear on them due to the spin. So this battle, in all reality, is going to be in Gusty's favor for a long period of time.
Depends on the pace of the Red Bull. And then see
Other battle to watch for third. Laser has third, but Schumacher is closing the gap down, and it does look like he'll have DRS coming onto the front straightaway.
He'll have DRS here, only 6 tenths behind. Zola only 4 tenths,
Will he-
3 tenths behind as well, so there's 2 battles to keep an eye on.
He's coming with speed. He looks to the inside. Does the AlphaTauri defend? No,
didn't
he will
wanna take the
not.
position, I don't
Schumacher.
think.
Yeah, I don't think Schumacher wanted the position there. He wants it on here on the second DRS straight, but this straight's a lot shorter. You need to really sling out of turn 2 with a lot of speed. He's got the speed. Does he make the move? He looks to the inside and does not go for it.
Can't do. He should have gone for it while he had the chance.
And Gusty has come into the pit lane,
Yeah, he's come on to mediums.
taken off the hards and gone to medium. So I'm guessing that Haas team could not get those hard tire compounds to work whatsoever. So this drops him out of the top 10. Now Gallminator, who took damage on the first lap, he is now back into the points paying positions in 10th.
Another DRS zone here for an SC.
Laser had a good exit from the corner,
Good.
and although Shumi, he is closing down, the gap is too wide. He's not going to be able to make a move here. Shumi, he's not going to like me saying this, but I think he's just going to have to go for the move on the main straightaway.
Little switch there from Laser. Means that the gap is now less than 3 tenths.
Fratters gets the first time penalty of the day in 13th. Again, like I was saying though earlier, I think you're going to see a lot less time penalties on most of the circuits now because it's just not ideal to be running offline because of how sensitive these cars are over the curbs.
Yeah, not at all. I want to be on the tarmac rather than the curbs. He's going to go for the move.
Yeah.
And he gets it
Easy DRS overtake, and the Ferrari now moves up in the 3rd spot. Still the better part, 12 seconds out from the race lead though.
Not a great exit there from Laser. Obviously, he's got DRS here. Only 9.
Oh, and Dad Stop
wow.
Gaming has just crashed out at the top of the hill. And that is going to be a virtual safety car. No, that is a full course safety car.
It's good for Zola.
For Dad Stop
Good for
Gaming and the
medium runners.
AlphaTauri, frustration.
Kind of good for the medium runners, I think. The soft runners, definitely. Get in the pits.
They may not even have to get in the pits. They might go ahead and just use this to close back in, but I would go ahead and pit for sure. Throw on a set of hards and run the hards to the end of the race at this point.
Yeah. Get in the pits.
Also because of where this happened though, everyone across the field will be allowed to go ahead and jump in. I think the one who this really hurts is exits the spot because he is on hards. You could jump in and throw on mediums, but those mediums won't last to the end.
Probably
But
not.
if you stay out on the hards, you're going to be eaten alive. Gallminator has spun out under the safety car.
Oof. Goodness me.
And this will drop him out of the top 10 positions.
Let's see
Down
what
to
happens.
14th.
So yeah, exit spot stays out.
Dragon
Dragon's
is
going
going to come in. So he'll probably throw on hards to the end of this
stays
race.
out.
I imagine.
Laser goes in.
Yeah, Laser comes in.
Zola's in.
Zola is going to come in. Dave is going to nearly spin out, but he is probably going to come in. Yes,
Yeah.
he does.
Take those hards to the end.
Flavor is staying out, so both Ferrari drivers staying out.
That is surprising.
Here comes Mantic Meerkat into the pits. Fratters very nearly spins out, but Gusty stayed out because he had just pitted before the yellow came out, so he is on fresh medium, well, relatively fresh mediums, and he'll move up to about 7th on the grid now.
Oh, Dragon spun out.
And under the safety car as well on the hard
He's
tires.
lost about
So all the
3 places there. 2 places.
That's going to drop him to 8th, yeah.
On to 8th. Although, Dave has let him back through, which is nice of him. Good
Still will be
sportsmanship
behind
there.
Gusty, though. And
Meerkat.
Mantic Meerkat has collided with Snake coming out of pit lane.
Goodness gracious.
So Meerkat jumped on the brakes exiting pit road, but like we were talking about before the race started, because of these new tires, that you have to brake significantly earlier coming out of the pit. Meerkat missed that memo, I guess, and he went right into the side of Snake.
He's on
Is there
softs
damage
as well.
to those two cars?
Meerkat actually pitted for softs, which is an interesting one.
Herbie threw on medium tires
Yeah.
and Gulminator on hards. And at the looks of it, we will be going green on about lap 11, I imagine.
Yeah, give it a couple of laps. People will catch up and then we'll be off.
I don't even think it will need to be a couple of laps. So many of this circuit are straightaways that's ideal. It's a great way to just close in the gaps under safety car. But look at this little gaggle right here from about 12th to 8th.
Yeah.
Everyone's 12th to 9th. Everyone's right on top of each other.
Yeah, you need a bit of clean air to keep your tyres relatively fresh, but it won't make a difference really, will it? I'm now on lap
Well, right
10.
now, Dragon is in 7th, and he is about 5 seconds out from the rear of the grid. He'll catch them going downhill through Sector 2 here. Dave, though, is 18 seconds off from Dragon, so we might not even be able to get going until lap 12.
Mantic's
Meerkat
pitted.
pits, so he's going to serve his... I'm guessing he's going to repair damage, serve his 5-second penalty. Well, no, you can't serve his 5-second penalty.
He's
in
gone
the
on
safety
to
car,
hards,
can
hasn't
you?
he?
Yeah.
Get there. Get hards to the end, Kai. I think when he pitted it, when it put him on soft, which he didn't want to be on. So he's gone into the pits.
And Dave's still 21 seconds out from the rear of the field. This could end up being a long time before we actually get back underway. The field was relatively spread out. No one was lapped down yet, but the field was relatively spread out when that happened just due to all the individual spins and lap 1 instance that had happened. And Dave does not seem to be under any rush to catch the rear of the grid either.
Well, no, because it's going to be out for another lap. You don't want to put wear on your tyres too early.
Well, one thing that this will change, though, is regarding, as we pull up the telemetry, looking at everyone's fuel numbers real quickly. X hits the spot. He is still low on fuel. Schumacher is still low on fuel. Laser is low on fuel. Flavor is low on... Is everyone low on fuel? There's no way everyone is low on fuel with all these laps under yellow. Okay, cool. So we no longer have any good telemetry on if people are struggling with fuel or not. Awesome. That's wonderful. I love hearing that. Thank you, game.
I can see from steering wheels if you want. If we can trust that. Exit spot plus 2.6. MSC plus 0.5.
Where are you seeing this on the
on the
wheels?
steering wheel. So
Where
you've got
on
the
the steering
You've
wheel?
got the gear in the middle. And then on the right, you've got like a number, and then you've
the
got
thing in
something
the parentheses?
brackets. Yeah, the thing in the brackets.
Well, if we go off of that, everyone looks like they're up on fuel.
I think, anyway.
Oh my, Herbie is up by, what, 3 full laps on fuel? My goodness.
Yeah. It's a couple of drivers. I don't know.
Yeah, everyone's up on fuel then. Okay,
Yeah,
so if that's the case, fuel not going to be... So in that case, fuel not going to be an issue to the end of this race.
See, I think...
And we should be going green this lap.
See, personally, I'd be scared going to... Thingy, oh my god, is that the fastest lap that's broken?
Yes, it is. It was broken on lap 1.
Great.
I mean, it's no different from the last game. Last game broke the fastest lap every other week, it felt like. Alright, so exits the spot, has led every lap thus far, but he is now on worn hard tires. Second place, MSC SF7, he is on worn mediums. Third place, Laser is on fresh hards. Fourth place, Flavor is on worn mediums. Fifth place, Zola is on fresh hards. Sixth place, Gusty is on relatively fresh mediums. So this is going to get really interesting to fight for the top 5 positions, because you have a lot of people. You have a lot of people who are going to be on much older tires compared to drivers on really nice fresh rubber that they're planning to take to the end.
Specifically, the Ferraris and Snake, 8 and 10 lap old tires.
All right, coming to the green flag. X and SF7 both got great runs off the line as we are underway once more at Bahrain. Laser finds himself under threat from Flavor, but Flavor isn't going to push the issue too hard right now.
Coolly. Herbie actually right. On the back of his
Here comes
teammate.
Gussie. He's going to make a dive bomb on Zola for the 5th position.
Sorry, a little bit of contact there between the two Mercedes drivers. And Herbie's actually going to try and make a big move. Mercedes AMG stays there, but he gets past his teammate.
Ooh, wow, Snake very nearly spun himself out trying to close in on Herbie. And Herbie is still right there behind Mercedes AMG. Fratters gets by Collie Boy.
Coolly retakes
Collie Boy gets by Fratters, and Meerkat gets by Gulminator as Gulminator has a spin. And now Meerkat trying to get back by Fratters, but can't make it work. At the front, exits the spot, though, already more than 2.5 seconds ahead of MSC SF7. Shumi trying to get away from Laser.
And
here comes Zola to the inside. I tried making that move yesterday, and it ended up in an accident, but Zola's keeping it together. They almost make contact. Flavor, though, laid on the ERS, pulled back ahead of the Red Bull going down the straight. Both of them clambered over the curb on the exit of the final corner. The spot is Flavor's for now. Snake in 11th looks to the inside of Mercedes AMG. He'll hold the position under braking. Denies the inside line to Mercedes. Mercedes gets a better entry to 2. Snake gets a better exit side by side. DRS in Snake's favor. And Snake will go back into the points paying position in 10th. Although Mercedes tries to cross over and then backs out of it. Dragon just got by Zola. Zola had to back out running behind Flavor there. So Dragon now up into 7th behind, ahead of Dave. I'm sorry, he was ahead of Dave, not Zola there.
Yeah, Zola's still stuck behind Flavor. DRS.
Gusty making a move on Gusty, and hard tires versus mediums. The fresher hards win out. I mean, the fresher mediums win out over their hards, but But how long will that last?
Few laps yet. MSC still in second, 12 laps old these tires. Also Flavor. Zola's still all over the back of him. Zola needs to get past him as soon as he wants to progress any further.
These Ferraris are definitely a spanner in the works for the field. Flavor 5th and Schumi 2nd. Both of them have pace enough to stay ahead of drivers, but they're not opening gaps, and because of that, everyone's just kind of sandwiched between each other. It's great news for X at the spot, though, because it's letting him just extend his lead right now.
Oh, yeah, of course. DRS, though, is enabled. Short straight, though.
Yeah, Zola can't even get by Flavor, and Zola's within a third of a second that entire time. Culminator now by Fratters for the 14th spot on track. Fratters will try and fight back, and he'll get back by him in the braking zone. For second, Gusty is still right behind Schumacher. About half a second back. Lane on the DRS, lane on the ERS. Yeah, he's going to try and make this dive into the braking zone. There's nothing the Ferrari can do to fight back.
Still a bit side by side, but Gusty gets the position. Let's get to second then.
Ferrari needs to be careful not to go around in the aerodynamic wake. And yeah, he will. So Gusty holds second, and Schumacher is right there in third. Now Schumacher, this could work out well for him for a bit. He can use DRS off of Gusty to stay ahead of Laser for several laps here, and potentially use DRS to have Gusty pull him up the grid a bit.
Just a bit further back, Cooley and Mercedes. Side by side in the final corner. Goodness gracious, that wasn't a good move for Cooley there. Needs to wait his turn. Snake and Dave fighting here. He's late on the brakes. It looks
it doesn't matter because Herbie ahead of them both, held both of them up through 1 and 2. Snake's going to power out of the corner, though.
Yeah, good teamwork actually by them. Oh, and Zola has finally got past Flavor. Next on his list is Laser in 4th.
And Laser himself is being held up by Schumacher, but Schumi is running behind Gusty. Meerkat. Now, I think Schumacher's just fallen out of DRS range now, so he is now going to be under threat from Laser down the straight, more than likely. Well, no, Laser is a lot slower on the uptake, so the hards still not better, or not significantly better, than those very worn medium tires. In fact, the Ferrari actually closes on Gusty on the uphill sections of the circuit. And who's that? Right? That's Dave. And he has wing damage. The car is not destroyed, but he does have wing damage, so this will drop him dead last, more than likely. Collie Boy right behind Mercedes, going down the non-DRS straight. Is he going to make a dive bomb into the final corner? No, he actually backs way out of it because he wants to make an overtake on Merit.
Yeah, he tried
not on Merit, lap. On DRS, yeah. All right, here comes Schumacher, closing back in on Gusty. Zola is trying to stay ahead, and Dragon gets by Flavor now. Snake by Herbie, his teammate. Collie Boy by Mercedes, although Mercedes is fighting back on the outside of 1. That's the inside of 2. And he'll hold the position for the moment, but here comes the Alfa Romeo with speed onto the short straight. Mercedes has the DRS, but Collie Boy has the inside line under braking. Doesn't matter, Mercedes is able to take a wider line, maintain speed, and he'll hold on to 10th.
We're only half a second behind Dragon.
Yeah, but Flavor's tires are fading, and he is losing time significantly in the downhill parts of Sector 2.
Yellow flag, who's that? The Golminator.
Golminator. Put the power down too quickly coming out of the hairpin and nosed it into the inside tire barrier.
A lot of damage.
Snake has caught Flavor at the top of the hill, trying to figure out a way past. All things considered, for Flavor, this strategy of staying out on tires has not worked out for him, but for Schumacher in third, it has. He is still hanging out in third and using DRS to keep touch with Gusty.
Snake.
Here comes Snake on Flavor. Easy DRS overtake.
Used all of his ERS to get past him, but late braking from Flavor. Contact between the two drivers. Snake gets past. With Herbie back there as well, waiting in the wings, waiting for a moment. A real team effort here from the Mercedes team.
Flavor seems to be a lot more confident with that car despite the very worn tires, and he is really putting pressure on Snake. Snake's tires are... Oh, wow! Snake
really
runs off
wide.
circuit. Oh, and Flavor nearly spins out as well, so now it becomes Herbie who's going to be ahead of both of them.
Goodness gracious. You know, this mid-pack is so close together that one mistake and that's it, you're out the top 10. Near enough.
Well, farther up, Schumacher has now completely lost Gusty and has to hold Laser 517 behind him.
And Snake's been disconnected now. Snake's gone. 11 laps to go.
Laser running behind Schumacher within DRS range now, so at this rate I think he'll get by him in another lap or two. Snake is pitting out in 9th position.
Yeah,
He
that's
wants
his
off
day
the
out.
medium tires.
That's
And they
the
throw on
thing
softs.
there.
Those softs will not last to the end of the race.
Well,
Oh, Dragon has spun! Dragon
Oh,
has
gosh.
spun coming out of 3. And that drops him all the way down to 8th.
that's what we're saying, one mistake, you know, and that's it. Mantic Meerkat. 1.3.
Well, from the start of Sector 2 on lap 1, this race has been a walk away by X hits the spot, who is still on hard tires. The thing is, though, X out front is going to have to pit, and when he does, it will put Gusty into the race lead.
Yeah.
Gusty is going to try, I think, to nurse these medium tires to the end of the race.
It's a long way to the end yet still.
Laser, meanwhile, is right behind Schumacher for the 3rd position. Laser has tires that we know can go to the end of this race. Schumacher is going to have to pit, though. Same with Gusty. Well, Gusty's on the edge. Gusty is on the bleeding edge of maybe not having to pit. If Gusty does pit, though, then it might be Laser who walks out here with the win.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe. He's going for an overtake, is he? No, he's going to sit behind.
He sure thought of it, though. He did pull out a line right before the braking zone.
He had a little goosey, didn't he, there? But he may have to go here. Obviously, it's shorter, but no, he's not even close enough now to even look.
And while these two are fighting, Zola is coming up, and if Zola ends up overtaking Laser, that's going to really put Zola in a good position to win the season opener and could end up giving him a great hand in trying to win this championship.
Maybe. Yes, it's a spot up front. He's just doing what he needs to do right now, under no pressure from anyone else, really.
Yeah, the thing for X is that he needs to gap the rest of the field as much as he can, so when he does pit and get onto a different set of tires, he isn't going to have to overtake a stupid amount of cars.
Of course.
A yellow right now, what X needs is a yellow flag, so that way when he does pit, it negates the amount of time that he might end up losing in pit lane.
Yeah, yeah. Well, he's pitting now, in fact. He's pitting now.
Oh, this could get interesting.
And so does Gusty. Gusty's pitting
Oh,
as well.
Gusty's pitting as well.
So soft
yeah,
tires then.
that's... And here comes Laser, drag race against Schumacher, and Laser finally takes not only the spot over Schumacher, but he'll take the lead now. And Laser has tires that can go to the end, so for Laser, he just wants this race to stay green to the end, and he can walk out here with a victory.
X hits a spot then out in 7th on those soft tires. He'll be catching up very, very
Next.
quickly.
Yeah, but here comes Collie Boy. Collie Boy on nice, warm hards. Is he going to make a move? No, he will not. He's trying, though. Collie Boy has really hard tires right now. If he gets by or even just denies X a corner, that can really have a knock-on effect natively on him.
Flavor just moved
Flavor
out.
just walks.
They get moved out of the
Yeah,
way for the
Flavor. Yeah, Flavor is like, look, my tires are bad. I'm not even going to try and fight you for that spot.
And he's just the same with Mantic as well, so Flavor now drops down to 10th. To 10th place.
And now X has opened up the gap on Collie Boy. He'll now start putting his sights on Dragon. But again, you want to make X needs to make these soft tires last 9 laps. That's going to be hard. The counterpoint, though, is that for X, it's the spot. I think literally his only competition is going to be Zola and Laser because they are on hard tires. I don't think X is going to get back to the lead. I think he can probably get third. We know that Schumacher has to pit again.
He's
but
doing
other
that
than
now.
that, I don't know.
So he's
All right,
pitted
so
now.
Schumacher making a stop. Oh, yellow flag in Sector 3, and that is Flavor, who has had an incident. His tire is gone! Flavor's left front tire has gone! It is popped!
Gosh. And he's going to get lapped as well. Maybe. Actually, no, he won't get lapped, will he? I thought that was...
It's going to be really close, though, if Laser keeps
He better move
good
out of the way.
pace.
There we go.
So a tire failure, something I've only ever seen once before in this game while broadcasting, now happening here, first race of X3.
Yeah.
And no, I do
20
think
laps on
Flavor
the
is at
mediums.
risk of getting lapped.
Nah, he's not now. Not now. He may lose another position to dominate.
Alright, meanwhile in 5th position as X hits the spot, he is behind Dragon. Gusty, who was running 2nd when he pitted, he's still stuck in 9th, well behind Mantic Meerkat in 8th, so this is really working out very natively for Gusty. X right behind Dragon, trying to figure out a way by that Aston Martin with the hard tires.
Yeah, X is definitely the one to watch here.
But does he have enough time to get up there and overtake Zola and Laser for this win? I don't think so.
I think he does, you know.
I
I think
he'll get by Dragon in the next lap or two. I think he'll get by Herbie without too much issue as well, because Herbie is on very warm mediums. And as I say that, Herbie is pitting, so Herbie has just pitted out of the top 3. So this is now a fight for third, X versus Dragon.
X. There goes X, hits the spot. Round Dragon. So 7.2 to Zola then.
Well, the good news for X is that he has a lot of clean air, so he'll be gaining maximum use out of these soft tires. But those softs start falling off about 6 laps into the stint. I think
Mantic.
X can catch. Oh, Meerkat's crashed out.
And that
is a full course yellow.
full safety car.
Oh, and that gives the race right back to X.
It does, you know. So
Because it doesn't matter if Laser and Zola pit or not. Because of this incident, they're either going to be on way worse tires and X will blow by them, or they'll have to pit and X gets the top spot back.
yeah, just go on soft tires, at least then you can battle for some positions. That's what I'd be doing if I was them. Go on softs, you'll be alright. So that's kind of negated the race a little bit, because we know that the hard runners will be going into the pits. So that'll be X in first, Gusty second, MSC third. Herbie will go up to fourth.
I think Laser and Zola are far enough ahead of the rest of the grid that when they pit and then get back out, they'll still be ahead of Gusty and MSC.
We're in now.
Yeah, X now leads. Laser in second, Zola in third, Dragon pitting.
Here comes
He's
Zola,
fourth
then.
at the moment. Collie Boy pitting. Here comes Mercedes. Here comes Gusty. I
be
think
close.
Gusty is probably going to pop out in second or so.
Yeah. Oh, third for Gusty. Third for Gusty.
Yeah, he's caught behind Laser right now. MSC, Shumi, is out there now in fifth. And Snake gets a penalty for speeding in the pit lane.
If X would let Dave pass, that would be good. But I don't think he will, which is a bit of a nuisance. Oh no, he did. No. Yeah, he did. He let him pass.
But the game says he needs to be behind.
But he needs to go off track to let him do it. He can't just overtake. I know what it feels like to be like in his position. It's not fun at all. All you want to do is get past him and be like, bloody move so that I can catch up a little bit.
I mean, it does look like they're both trying to make something happen here, but it's kind of a shame for Dave. Dave pitted thinking that X was going to pit out of the top spot, and he would be able to stay on the lead lap, but X had no incentive to pit in this scenario. I do think X has the advantage. Now, the counterpoint, though, is that Laser is going to have fresher rubber than X does. So Laser can take a fight to X, but X has had more pace than anyone else all day today.
Yeah, he deserves to win it, I think, because X, he's had way much more pace than the others, and he's going to try it again? No, he can't. Oh, no. Nah, 5... See, at that point, you just stay ahead of him because you've ignored yellow flags. Just stay ahead of him.
I mean, I hate to say it for Dave, but we're at a point in the race right now where you're going to get screwed one way or another. You're going to get screwed one way or another. Either he has to burn up his tires to catch the rear of the grid, or he's trapped a lap down. I don't think that Dave is going to be in a position to really make up any ground.
Well, no, but he's got past the safety car now. He's all right on his way. That's kind of good as well for the drivers in third and fourth, in second, third, and fourth as well.
Yeah. So Laser going to take the fight to exit the spot. X has led every single lap today except for those under green flag stops. It didn't look like, for a long time, it didn't look like X was going to win, simply because if it was going to stay green to the end, he was going to be locked to about third, maybe second. But now with this yellow flag, the drivers ahead of him had to pit. They've been cycled down to second and fourth, respectively. So X now just has to hold off a charge from Laser on this restart. But we're probably not going to restart until about lap 26. So I think we're going to be looking at a 3 or 4 lap shootout to the end. DRS is going to come only on the last lap or so.
Yeah, there'll only be 1 or 2 laps of DRS. I think the game will go. I don't know. I think the game might go this lap. You know.
I don't think so. Flavor's not quite close enough to the rear of the grid.
No, but
it would be nice if we went this lap, though.
It's going to catch up quickly. There's still a full sector to go.
Nope. No, I don't think we're going green until lap 26.
Nah, next lap, man.
But this does work out well enough for Dave. He will be at the back of the grid, or relatively close to the back of the grid. If there ends up being any shenanigans and accidents on the restart, he might be able to pick up a few positions from that.
Maybe. So 1 more lap then, under the safety car. Exits the spot. Had a great race. Laser hit it at the right time. Then Gusty, Zola, MSC, Herbie all have a chance of doing alright. Dragon as well. Cooley in 8th. Had a great
Dragon could honestly have been having a... Dragon's day has kind of been of ups and downs. He's been one of the fastest drivers all day, but I've counted no less than 3 spins from him today. He honestly could be top 3, top 4 positions, but he's given up so much time just through spins. Oddly enough, all of them are in Sector 1 rather than Sector 2, where everyone else has been having their problems.
An interesting one. I think if Cooley has a good last couple of laps, he could be up there. And then for Fradders not to be last, that is a win in my book. He should get 25 points for that.
Alright, Dave's pitting again, so he's already burned those soft tires up, just trying to catch the rear of the grid. And He's
Fastest
still
lap.
not caught them. Yeah, he'll probably have to go for fastest lap points, so we'll just hammer out these remaining laps for sure. But with this in mind, we are definitely going green this time by. There we are. Yep, official safety car coming in this lap.
There we go then. Only a few laps left of the race.
Yep. 4 laps to go. X needs to open up as much of a gap on Laser as fast as he can. Laser has the fresher tires, but X has clean air. What about Gusty, Zola, and MSC?
And he's gone.
Yeah, X immediately accelerated into the final corner. Laser closing back in, though. Laser accelerating better out of the final corner.
Until... Yeah, that's all
Oh,
right.
Laser's coming, though. Laser's got great speed. He's barreling down on the Alpine, but it's not going to be close
Yellow
enough.
flag.
And Dave has crashed out in Sector 2. Well, so much for all that effort to get back on the lead lap, I guess.
He's been unlucky today, is Dave. Very unlucky.
Fratters in third gets another time penalty. Dragon fighting with Collie Boy for 7th position. It looks like Dragon has it for now. At the front, Laser about 3/4 of a second out from X. There is no DRS these first 2 laps. Laser just needs to stay within about a second if he wants a shot at this. Problem is, Gusty is there in third. Gusty is thinking big picture championship, and he will try and get by Laser if the opportunity presents itself.
Yeah. Well, it'd be nice to win this race. You can't win every race. To get a top 3 is perfect. Perfect start to the season. Even a top 5, I think, would be a good start to the season for any driver. Snake.
Golminator, the only driver on track.
Broken
Oh.
wing.
And that will relegate him to dead last by default. And that's a yellow flag?
Apparently. Looks like a
Yeah,
VFC.
that's big enough for a virtual safety car.
Interesting, that.
Well, this works out well for Laser because it catches Laser within a second of X, and when they do go green, DRS will automatically re-enable, or at least the clock 2 that will re-enable. Also, Fratters is pitted as well, so both Fratters and Golminator pitting under the VSC, so both of them will be out of points-paying positions, although I do see both of them trying to throw on a set of softs to go for fastest lap point. This actually hurts Gusty quite a bit because Gusty is well out of contention of the win now. It's just going to be X versus Laser. This has been a long VSC, though.
Yeah. It'll go about a lap, I think. Maybe half a lap.
Also of note, Gusty is third, but he'll have Zola in fourth right behind him, and Shumi in fifth behind him as well. Then you have Herbie, Dragon, Collie Boy. They all just have a little bit more than a second between each other. Mercedes is way out there in ninth, so I think he needs something to happen to the drivers ahead to make anything happen. Snake is 10th with a bunch of time penalties, and Flavor is 11th with no time penalties. So Flavor could still walk out here with points.
20-second time
Golminator!
penalty.
What in the world?
A 20-second time penalty for speeding under the virtual safety car. And we're back racing once again.
And when they
What
come to the
has
line, it will be
happened?
2 laps to go, and DRS will be enabled. So Laser will have about 2 laps to try and get by X. Gusty actually closed back in. He got great acceleration. We may have a 3-way fight for a lead here. X weaves to the inside. Laser follows him. Gusty follows as well. Zola is just outside of it. I think it's a 3-way fight for the win here. Laser has acceleration out of 2 and 3. Pops open the DRS, but he's still over half a second behind the Alpine. X needs to open up the gap on Laser as much as he can, because Laser's best chance to get the position will be on the main straight on the white flag.
Snake gets past Mercedes. Culminator in another 5 seconds. He's going to get disqualified.
Well, with all that, yeah, Culminator's going to get disqualified. It's pretty much guaranteed at this point.
Yeah, he's got 28 seconds.
X opening up the gap on Laser again. X is just so much faster that even with the fresher tires, Laser can't do anything to him.
Crazy, innit? And then we've got Gusty here as well.
Yeah, the race is over, I think, for the win. The question now is just, can Gusty do anything to Laser? I don't think so, because Laser is just close enough. He'll be able to use DRS as a defense.
Last lap. About to start then.
Yeah, Laser is laying on the ERS, has DRS open, and is no closer to X at the end of the straight than he was at the start. Gusty is still there behind. I think Gusty is going to try and nip the AlphaTauri going into turn 4.
His Laser only has less than 10% ERS. He hasn't got the power in the car. Gusty only has 20%. Exit spot has nearly 50.
Yeah, X can just go full beans to the end of this race. He'll be good. Yeah, no movement in the top 5 positions simply because everyone is way too even and way too close, and the DRS just kind of neutralizes everyone's ability.
Cooley Boy, less than 2/10 behind Dragon. Oh, he spins
and he's
out.
Around.
Curse to the commentator there. Goes down to 10.
Laser within 6/10, coming onto the non-DRS straight for the last time. Gusty is right there behind him, putting pressure on the AlphaTauri. Laser accelerates well. This is the closest he's been, but there's only one corner left. I don't think Laser is close enough to make a dive bomb. So exits the spot, took home the pole, led a bunch of laps, led more laps than anyone else, and at the line, he is going to take home the victory. Mercedes spins out of the top 10. Laser comes home 2nd, Gusty comes home 3rd, Zola 4th, Schumi 5th, Herbie will come home 6th, 7th will be Dragon. Snake will come home in the 8th position, but will likely lose that to Collie Boy because Collie Boy has no time penalties. So Collie gets 8th, Flavor gets 9th, Snake 10th. Mercedes will come home in the Mercedes AMG, and the Aston Martin will come home 11th. Fratters trying to take home fastest lap point. Now that's been bugged since the start of the race, so we won't actually see if he got it until he crosses the line. And then Gulminator in 13th will likely be disqualified due to the amount of time penalties he had.
Yeah, unless he gets it removed, which is unlikely. Speeding under VSC probably won't get removed. Fratters. Yeah, Gulminator will get disqualified. He won't get the 20 seconds removed, and he's got 28 seconds of penalties, so... Yeah. He's getting disqualified. Fratters in 12th.
Alright.
And then Gulminator.
Alright, and coming into the party right now is X hits the spot. X, go ahead and include your audio. A fantastic run. You were the fastest man throughout all of qualifying. You were by far the fastest man through the race. It looked like strategy was going to kick you in the pelotas there, but you did take home the victory. Walk us through the race from your perspective, mate.
First of all, thank you.
X, there you are.
Sorry. Yeah, first of all, thanks. Good racing to everybody else. My strategy was to go on hards at first. I noticed in the first lobby that I was the only person on hards, and that was going to work on my favor, barring, late safety cars. Early safety cars wouldn't really matter that much. But that mid safety car, this almost screwed me over just a little bit. I had enough life on my hards to try and push as hard as possible to get a decent gap, and I believe I did. I got back to 4th relatively quickly, but that was going to be a tough challenge to chase down the leaders, but luckily another safety car came out.
Yeah. And you did a fantastic job making that work out to the end, managing the gap on the final restart when you had the worst tire, but a better ERS management kept you out front, so great job on that point. A win to start the season. Do you think this showcases a potential championship run, or is this just fluke?
Well, I mean, if I'm being frank here, I believe I've shown multiple occasions that I am a more than capable racer to be up at the front. Last season and the season before that, so starting off on the right foot definitely helps. We'll see how the season progresses.
All right. Well, thank you very much, X, for jumping in, talking with us. Great job on the season opening pole to win, and we look forward to seeing you do more of this going forward. Also coming into the party right now is Laser517. Laser, go ahead, include your audio. A great run from the midfield up into second, led a bunch of laps, but the win just wasn't in the cards for you. Walk us through the race from your perspective.
It was a good race all around. I was kind of in two minds if I had to go and pit under the last safety car or not. But I think it was the right decision. First and third place guys both stayed out and they run all their tires, and I think I could have just kept pace with them. They were a bit faster than me all race round. So all around I'm happy with the race.
All right, so second place. Do you think a win's in the cards for you in the next few weeks, though?
Oh, we'll see. We'll see. I need to gain a bit of pace on these guys, but we'll see. I'm definitely not out of the question.
All right, well, great job on your run today, mate. Fantastic coming home second. We hope to see more of this from you going forward.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. All right, and with that, we will wrap up our broadcast here from Bahrain in about an hour's time, actually closer to 45 minutes time. One more race from Bahrain for the X2 category on the main channel. I encourage you to check that out if you don't have anything better to do today. But until next week, I've been your host, Insane Leader 13. I just want to say thank you for jumping in and watching us as XRL is back in business, baby. We'll see you next week at Abu Dhabi. Farewell.